Quiz 2, Math 1. Okay, so we're going to go through a few problems here. First type of problem you're going to see on the quiz will just be combining x terms. So in this problem, I'm going to go 7x plus 4 equals x plus 16. Alright, so I got x's here, numbers here. All I really have to do is combine them. So now I have the equal sign here, so what I do to one side I got to do to the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this 4. So subtract 4 from both sides. I'm going to be left with 7x, these go away, equals x plus 12. Alright, x on this side, x on this side. So I'm going to get rid of this x, get all x's on this side, leave the numbers on this side. So this is a positive x. To get rid of it, I have to subtract it. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the other. So subtract an x on this side. So I'm left with 6 x's is equal to 12. All right. Now I need to get rid of the x. I want the or the 6. I want the x by itself. So to get rid of the x, the 6 from the x, there we go. I have to divide. So I'm going to divide to both sides. So divide by 6, and I'm left with, those cancel. X is equal to, 6 goes into 12 2 times, and that's our answer. All right, let's try another one. There it goes. All right, we'll do some multiplication in this one. So 3 times x minus 2 plus 7 equals 2 times x plus 5. All right, so before we do anything, we're going to distribute the 3 into this and the 2 into this, and then we'll go from there. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. All right, and I can bring everything else down. So plus 7 equals 2 times x is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. That's 2x. 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. There we go. Now, just like I did in this problem up here, I take this and I just combine everything. So let's start on this side. Here I have a negative 6 and a 7. They're on the same side of the equal sign, so I can go ahead and just do the math. So that's going to be 3x 6 from 7 is going to leave us with a positive 1. All right, bring everything else down, 2x plus 10. Let's get this 1 on this side. So I'm going to subtract 1 to both sides. Those cancel. I'm left with 3x is equal to 2x. 10 minus 1 is 9. Now I want this x on this side, so I'm going to subtract 2x. So minus 2x, minus 2x. And I'm left with 1x on this side, because 2 take away from 3 is just x, it's positive. Equals, these cancel out, and I'm left with 9. That's all there is to that. All right, let's try, this is still quiz 2. Quiz 2. All right, let's try some lowest common denominator stuff. So if I have x over 3 is equal to x over 2 minus 2. All right. Now, remember this negative 2 is really just a 2 over 1. That's really what it is. So everything here can be put in fraction, but what we want to do is we want to make sure the bottoms go away. So the easiest way to do that is just to multiply everything by a number that all of these will go into. That way they divide out, basically. So if I look at 3, 2, and 1, the smallest number that all of them go into would be 6. So really what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the entire top, the x, and the negative 2 by 6. And then I'll be able to divide these bottom numbers into it, which will leave me with no numbers on the bottom. So here we go. I'm just going to put a big parenthesis sign around this and multiply it by 6. So everything on the top, multiply by 6. 6x over 3, 6 times x. 6 times x over here, so that's 6x over 2. 6 times negative 2 is minus 12. And I could put it over 1 if I wanted to. It's fine. All right, so 3 into 6 goes 2 times. Keep the x. 2 into 6, 3 times. Keep the x. 12, or 1 into 12, goes 12 times, so minus 12. There we go. From this point, now I can just go ahead and solve like I normally did. So here I have a negative 3x. I'm going to subtract, or a positive 3x. I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. All right, that gives me a negative x is equal to negative 12. All right, I don't want a negative, so I reverse the signs basically. So I'm left with x equals 12. And that's your answer for that one. Let's try another one. Let's do 20 minus x over 3 equals x over 2. Same thing. This is really a 20 over 1 if you want to look at everything like fractions. So the smallest number again would be 6. All right, so multiply everything in here by 6. So 6 times 20, 6 times x, 6 times x. All right, and then we can go ahead and divide it back out. So 6 times 20 is 120 minus 6 times x is 6x over 3 equals 6 times x, 6x over 2. All right, now I can go ahead and divide everything back out. That was really over 1, right? All right, so 1 divided into 120 is 120 minus 3 goes into 6 2 times, so that's 2x equals 2 goes into 6 3 times, so that's 3x. All right, and then just like before, we're going to just get the x's on the same side. So I'm going to add 2 x's on this side, add 2 x's on this side. So 120 is equal to 5x. All right, now I got to get rid of the 5 on this side because they're connected. So divide 5 out, and I'm left with x is equal to 24. 5 into 120 is 24. And that's it for that problem. All right. Quiz 2. Okay, there's some word problems that you might see. If you look in your book, 1.3, let me show you a sample. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully you can read that. This is number 5. So when 60% of a number is added to the number, the result is 192. What's the number? All right. All these problems are going to look just like the ones we just did, where you have numbers and x's and things of that nature. All right. So when 60% of a number, so 60%, all we're going to do is turn that into a decimal. So 60% is really just 0.6. All right. So when 60% of a number, and when you see that, the number, we don't know what it is, so we just make it x. So right now I have 0.6x is added to the number. There's the number again, the word number, so that's an x. The result is 192. So let's see what that looks like. So when 60% of a number, so 0.6 of a number, we don't know what the number is, so we just say x, is added to the number x. The result is 192. All right. So in those word problems, whenever you see the whenever you see the number, it just means a variable. So it's, in this case, we just use x. So now all I have to do is just figure out this side and solve, basically. So here I have 1x and I have 0.6 of an x. So really I have 1.6 x's. 0.6 of an x and 1 full x equals 1.6x. That equals 192. Okay, now I just need to divide the 1.6 away from this to get this by itself, and I do the same thing on the other side. So divide 1.6, divide 1.6. These cancel out, and I'm left with x is equal to 120. All right. Let's try another one. Bring the book back in. Let's try, we'll try number 1. When 5 times a number is decreased by 4, the result is 26. What is a number? So 5 times a number. So remember, whenever we see the word number, we can just put an x. So I have 5 times a number, so 5x is decreased by 4. So 5x minus, decreases minus 4 equals 26. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so when 5 times a number, so 5 times a number, so 5x is decreased by 4, the result is 26. All right? So I want x's on this side, I want numbers on the other side, so I'm going to add in 4 on both sides. So 5x equals 30. Those cancel, this gets added. Divide the 5 out, so x is equal to 6. Remember, that's just a 5 and a 5. We're just dividing. So 6 is your answer. All right, let's try some word or some problems with i's in it. So one thing to remember is I squared is equal to -1. So just remember that part. All right, so let's try some problems. There we go. So 7 plus 2i plus 1 minus 4i, and they're saying solve it. So what do? Well, there's nothing being multiplied or divided, so basically all we're doing is we're taking this and combining it to this. So I have a positive 7 and a positive 1, so that gives me 8. And then I've got 2i and minus 4i. So if I take 2i from this, or add 2i to negative 4i, I'm still in the negative, but I'm negative 2i. And that's your answer. Not too difficult, just combining. Just remember, you can't combine i's and numbers together, so that's our answer. All right, and actually, if you want to look in the book, this is 1.4, your exercises. I think this is problem 1, maybe? Let's do problem 11. Problem 11 is minus 5 plus 4i times 3 plus I. All right, now the parentheses are right next to each other, which means we have to multiply. So 5 times 3, or negative 5 times 3, negative 5 times I, 4i times 3, 4i times I. That's how we're going to do it. So negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Negative 5 times I is minus 5i. 4i times 3 is positive 12i. And 4i times I is, I'm going to put a plus here, plus 4i squared. All right. Now this we have to watch out for. All right, let's combine this stuff first and then we'll go back to this part. So right here I have minus 15. Here I have negative 5i and 12i. So when I combine those, I get positive 7i. Here I have 4 and I squared. Remember, I squared is equal to negative 1. So really this is negative 4. So make sure you break it apart before you do it. So I have negative 4. Once I break that out, then I can just combine it to this number over here. There's no i's, so it doesn't go with this guy. So I just take this and combine it with this. So a negative 4 and a negative 15 gives me negative 19 plus 7i. I don't think there's anything like this on the quiz, but just so you know, if you do get an I squared, make sure you convert it to a negative. And I believe that's it. All right. Hopefully you guys take a look at this and practice. If you have any questions, just let me know. Good luck.